we cried.
Oh, it was total devastation here at this house. It was like someone had died. That's what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. This has been a nightmare.
Mm.
And with all the attorneys that we've had, and it just seems like you have done so much in like 2.5 months than they did in 9 years.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Ann, and this is Can't Stop, Won't Stop Warriors on YouTube. If you haven't already done so, please click my logo below and subscribe to Can't Stop, Won't Stop Warriors. It's free, and your subscription will help get Jennifer Medie's story to more people. Maybe somebody listening is in an abusive relationship or is witnessing abuse and doesn't know what to do or what their consequences might be. Please like and subscribe. In episode 13, I introduced a letter that I found that may have been a game changer if it would have been brought up in trial. I also discussed the autopsy results and expert Harry Camero's opinion, ruling Sophia's manner of death as homicide. According to the police report, Pennsylvania State Trooper David Patrick received a copy of the state's expert report from William A. Shaw on June 14, 2016. Then, it's noted in attorney Robert Donaldson's notes that 2 days later, on June 16, 2016, Trooper David Patrick interviewed Jennifer at her home. I asked Jennifer's parents about this interview because nowhere in the police report does it say this encounter occurred. Shady as fuck.
They called, we were on the way home from State College.
Yeah.
And asked if Jen could go over to see them one last time. And I said no, but Jen says you can come to the house and she'll talk to you there. She's tired of coming over there because every time she wants to leave, they won't let her go. They keep on offering her candy, drinks, for her to keep staying there to, make her prolong her stay there. And she wants to get up and go. Go ahead and come to the house. I said she'll talk to you there. Yeah, they asked us if we could go somewhere else, and we said we'll go into the bedroom. And we went into the bedroom and we hung out there.
So they didn't want you there?
No, they didn't.
Who was there? Dave Patrick and who?
We don't know who the other...
The heavier set guy, I don't know.
Okay. Did you guys listen into the conversation? Do you know what it was about? Did you ask them after?
We could hear through the walls and stuff, and the main thing that they kept saying was, your story hasn't changed yet. You need to tell us the truth because your story hasn't changed.
And they just said it over and over and over again.
And that's when Joey says, this is enough. And she came out and says, you just have to leave.
But I had a heart attack probably week or two before that, I think. I told him, I said, you have to go. Well, do you need us to call you an ambulance? I said, no, you just have to go. Then they left, and that was it.
So how long do you think they were there?
About a half hour, 45 minutes. It wasn't very long. They couldn't control it here like they can at the police station.
Did you guys know that on that same day, like in the police report, Dave Patrick wrote, on June 16, 2016, I prepared a criminal complaint charging Jennifer Ann Medzie with criminal homicide, aggressive or aggravated assault, endangering the welfare of children, simple assault, and recklessly endangering another person. On that same day, he did that.
No, we had no idea that any of that was, even through all the attorneys, you're the one who pointed that out to us, that arrest warrant was made that day.
So I was curious. I was wondering, do you know what time they came to your guys' house?
It was after 12 o'clock. It was in the afternoon sometime. I'm not quite sure.
Y'all, there is nothing in the police report that I could find stating this interview occurred. In fact, Trooper Dave Patrick testified in court that he had three interviews with Jennifer. One, he says, was on the 15th of November, 2013. The second, he claims, was a few months later, quote, March or April of 2014. And then the third one was on the day that we actually arrested her at Clearfield County Jail, end quote. Such bullshit. Y'all, this is perjury. Why can a police officer lie under oath? The fact is, Pennsylvania State Trooper David Patrick interviewed Jennifer Medzie on November 15, 2013, and then on April 16, 2015. Not, quote, a few months later in 2014, end quote. And then he interviewed Jen at her home on June 16, 2016, which he conveniently left out of the police report. And then the fourth, not third, was on August 25, 2016 at Clearfield County Jail. 70 days after the criminal complaint was given to Bill Shaw, he approved it, and the complaint was filed at District Court Jerome Nevling's office, where Nevling issued the warrant for the arrest of Jennifer Medzie. Let's take a look at the criminal complaint signed by Trooper David Patrick. As you probably predicted, the first paragraph has the same two blatant lies. You know, the one that Sophia, quote, had been living at the house trailer with her father since February 2013, which was about the time Cody gained custody of the victim, end quote. Yes, I harp on this because I believe they are trying to make it look like Sophia was living under Cody's care and doing well from February 2013 up until Jen moved in September of 2013, when the fact is Sophia did not live with Cody, quote, since February 2013, end quote. The fact is, according to Cody himself in an interview, he had supervised visitation of his daughter beginning in February after being released from spending a year in the county jail for drug charges. And his Facebook post, dated May 20th, 2013, states that this is the day he was awarded custody of Sophia. And he testified in court saying that Sophia didn't live at his trailer with him until Jennifer Medzie stayed there in September 2013. The fact is, Sophia's health significantly declined after she moved in with Cody. The criminal complaint is infuriating to read. David Patrick writes unfounded remarks like, quote, the victim would cry often when she left Brandy's house and had to go back with Jen, end quote. And that, quote, Cody never got a chance to call the doctor in Pittsburgh, end quote. When David Patrick wrote the summaries for Jennifer's November 17 and 18 interviews, he put a lot of emphasis on the 2 times Jennifer shook Sophia in October. In fact, all 17 sentences regarding the November 18th interview in the criminal complaint are about Jennifer shaking Sophia. Every single sentence. And the alleged abuse from Cody? Not once. Her large head circumference? Mm-mm. The bruises all over her body? Nope. How about that Sophia's neck and spine were unremarkable and intact, according to her autopsy report? No. Nothing. Except Jennifer shook her twice in October. And then on page 4 of the criminal complaint, Trooper Patrick states that on November 16, 2013, Dr. Adelaide Eichmann reported that she examined Sophia and that her findings are consistent with a shearing/shaking mechanism, and that Sophia is the victim of shaken baby syndrome, and that there are no accidental ways Sophia could sustain bilateral subdural hematomas and such extensive retinal hemorrhages. Adelaide Eichmann came up with her findings before Sophia's autopsy was even performed. She came up with shaken baby syndrome prior to knowing that Sophia's neck and spine were intact and unremarkable. What a disgrace. And you guys, from what I found, Adelaide Eichmann is still practicing. He then noted his phone conversation with Cassandra Evans, Pee-wee, on January 20th, 2015, regarding messages that she had received from Jen relating that she was tired of watching Sophia and that she was going to hurt Sophia or herself. And the last part of the criminal complaint notes the report from Dr. Harry Camero, stating that Sophia would have been immediately symptomatic, and that this is inconsistent with statements made by Jennifer Medzie. And his finding is that Sophia's manner of death is homicide. After reviewing the 5 pages, Clearfield County District Magistrate Jerome Nevling signed and dated the complaint and issued an arrest warrant for Jennifer Ann Medzie. According to the police report, that same day, on August 25th, 2016, Pennsylvania State Troopers David Patrick, David Ray, and Christopher Neal arrested and took Jennifer into custody and transported her to Nevling's office for her arraignment.
She was getting ready for work. I was sitting out here in the kitchen, and Jen came out and she said, "The police are here. Tell them I don't have time to talk to him today. I'm getting ready for work." So I answered the door, and Patrick was standing there, and he says, "I got a warrant for Jennifer's arrest." And Jen came out and says, "What?" And said about her warrant for arrest. She's like, "Well, I need to get back and," what was it?
Blow dry her hair.
Blow dry her hair, okay. And then he went back to make sure she wasn't jumping out of the window, but there was 4 cop cars here anyhow. And had the place surrounded. Well, she got dressed and everything and blow dried her hair and went outside, and then before they put her in the cop car, that's when they handcuffed her. And then they went up to Nevling's, and I followed.
I had a migraine the night before. Jen was at the, Jennifer had went to the Center Hall Fair. The Grange Fair was going on at that time. And she drove over and come back, and I don't know what time she got home, but I come out of the bedroom, and the same guy that was sitting here at the table on the 16th was standing at the door on the 25th, and I said, "What's going on?" And he just held up the piece of paper, and he said, "He'll explain it to you," meaning Stuart will explain it to me. And I'm just going, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then I seen Patrick walking Jen out of her bedroom, and I'm like, this is a nightmare. And that's the last time she's been here, and it'll be 9 years.
Well, we got up to Nevling's. She said, "Can I message work, tell them I'm going to be running late?" And they said, "Yeah, go ahead."
Yeah.
So they left her use her phone to message her coworker and said, "I'm going to be running late today."
Yep. And her boss, and she said, "I'm going to be running late." And they still have those messages on their phone.
And then nothing, and then she was at Nevling's, they arraigned her.
Right. And
so you were at the arraignment, Stuart?
Yes. So once they arraigned her, Nevling told him, he looked at me and says, "You're going to have her attorney?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "All right, they're going to have her attorney. They're paying for it." And So you just don't need to be hounding and pressuring her for any more answers or questions until her attorney's present. And
Neveling said that?
Yeah. And says you can walk her out the side door so nobody's, out there watching. And they said, no, we're going to take her out the front. And,
Patrick said that?
Yeah. And they walked her out front, while there was people in there.
Handcuffed.
Handcuffed, yes.
She kept saying, I don't understand.
Right.
I don't understand. And,
Nevin says, do you understand what's going on? And she says, no, I don't understand. And he tried to explain it, and she's like, I still don't understand. I did nothing.
Oh, my God.
and she kept saying, I want my mom. I want my mom.
And we came home and started making phone calls, so we get some money to get an attorney. And by Sunday, we had $10,000.
Yeah.
Oh, from like family and friends?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't for family and friends, we don't know what we would have done.
Because that's what Karen Muir wanted to have, was $10,000 to start it.
It was either 10 or 12 she wanted.
It might have been 12. But we had 10, and then we got 2 more.
Right.
Mm.
Oh, gosh. We sold everything. We sold everything we had. Just, you name it, we sold it. I had called my mom to come down because she lived right up the street. My mom did. And she had come down. Erica had gotten done with work, and she said she wasn't going back to work. So it was just us here, and then the neighbors come over, we had friends come over, family stopped in,
Like it traveled quick. Did people?
Oh, WTAJ was sitting out at Louder's trailer. They had an interview with them first thing in the morning. What I think was Dave Patrick was trying to line up with the news so they could catch Jen walking to and from places, because they were out at Louder's doing an interview with Erica Vahovic by noon, because it was on TV by noon.
Oh my gosh! I can't even imagine the shock that you.
Oh, we cried.
Oh, it was total devastation here at this house. It was like someone had died. That's what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Jen was my buddy. Like, I'd be out here in the kitchen and she'd come out and she'd say, Mom, think you can make me something to eat? And I'd be like, oh, come on, Jen, I just did dishes or whatever. Yeah, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. She'd always get my arm and she'd throw it over her shoulder because she's so smart. She's shorter than I am.
She's shorter than a lot of people.
Yeah, she is. She is. Yeah. This has been a nightmare.
Mm.
And with all the attorneys that we've had, and it just seems like you have done so much in like 2.5 months than they did in 9 years.
The police report states that at approximately 11:18 hours, Trooper David Patrick and Trooper William Moston interviewed Jen at the Clearfield County Jail, and she, quote, related the same information she did in the past interviews, end quote. The report then states, quote, after interviewing Medzie at the Clearfield County Jail, Trooper Moston and I, David Patrick, returned to the Clearfield station. I then contacted Trooper Kimberly Ronan and asked if she would interview Medzie again in hopes that she may reveal more information to her since she had a good connection with her in the past, end quote. So basically, David Patrick couldn't get the job done. And he thought Ronan would be most capable of coercing Jen to lie. And that's exactly what Jennifer Medzie claims happened. According to a recent video visit I had with Jennifer, she stated that Trooper Kimberly Ronan and William A. Shaw were both in the room at the jail, and Shaw's phone kept ringing, so finally he stepped out to answer a call. However, prior to stepping out, she said that he told Jen that if she gives them something that happened that morning, then he will let her go home at the preliminary hearing and she can go to church with her mother. According to Jen, Bill Shaw, the one that is currently, at the time of this recording, running for Clearfield County judge, coerced Jen into writing her false statement by promising to let her go home if she gave them something that happened that morning. Remember, you guys, this interview was not audio or video recorded. And I believe it was intentional so that it would be Jen's word against a police officer, Ronan, and a district attorney, Shaw. I seriously don't know how these people sleep at night. And a quick side note, the reason I cannot record my conversations with Jen is because I am not yet on her phone list. This has been an issue for months now. I'm on her visitation list, but not on her phone list. And after my most recent video visit with her, I called the prison and I spoke with Superintendent Amy Boyland. She was extremely kind and very helpful. Jen had mixed up 2 of the numbers when requesting to add me to her phone list. Julian Stewart then relayed this message to Jen, and now we wait until I'm approved in the beginning of June. Video and in-person visits, they can't be recorded. Now, let's hear what the police report states about that same conversation. Again, I do not find it a coincidence that the 2 interviews on the day of Jen's arrest were not audio or video recorded. Page 57 and 58 of the report are written by Trooper Kimberly Ronan. I will read it in part. Quote, on August 25th, 2016, I was working at PSP Clearfield for an unrelated investigation. On this date, Trooper David Patrick contacted me and related that he had arraigned and interviewed Jennifer Ann Medzie regarding this investigation at the Clearfield County Jail. Trooper Patrick related that Medzie conveyed the same information she had in the past, and if I would interview her in hopes a female would be able to have a connection with her. Upon arriving at the Clearfield County Jail, I was met by District Attorney William A. Shaw, Jr., who requested to sit in on the interview. Initially, District Attorney Shaw introduced both he and I to Medzie and explained the charges that were filed. District Attorney Shaw asked Medzie how she was holding up and spoke with Medzie about her current living situation, employment, family, and parents. Shaw explained that it was important for Medzie to be honest with the police and explain what happened the morning the victim, Sophia Margaret Hoffman, was injured. Medzie provided similar information as she had in the past, end quote. Ronan then reports that during the interview, District Attorney Shaw asked Medzie if she would be more comfortable talking to her alone. Medzie agreed and Shaw left the room. And this is Trooper Kimberly Ronan's recollection. Again, no audio, no video records of this interview. We are forced to just believe what Ronan recalls. You know, the one that lied about the fingerprint on bones and the nanny cams. The one that told Jennifer that she thinks she would fail the polygraph and then bullied her into trying to make her take it. Yeah, that one. This is what she says happened when she and Jen were alone at the county jail. Quote, Medzie related the following information in substance. That morning, she laid the victim down on the floor by the living room table. The victim's head may have been partially under the table. She was unsure about that detail. She changed the victim's diaper and bottoms. She wanted the victim to stand up so she could change her shirt. According to Medzie, the victim had been sick and slow-moving. Medzie stated that she picked the victim up so she could stand on her feet, striking the victim's head on the living room table. She believed the victim struck the undercarriage of the table and possibly the side of the table with her head. She denied using any force, but related after the victim struck her head, she went limp and started snoring. At that time, she moved the victim to either the couch or the chair. She then called Brandy and told her that the victim was snoring and asked what she should do. Brandy told her that the victim was sick, and that was a normal reaction. I asked Medzie if she told Brandy about striking the victim's head on the table, rendering her unconscious. She related, quote, "No," end quote. Medzie related that she called Pee-wee. Pee-wee responded to her residence. They called some additional individuals for assistance before subsequently calling 911. Medzie admitted she lied to the police because she was scared and she never meant to intentionally harm the victim, end quote. And then Jennifer gave them a written statement so she could go home, like Bill Shaw allegedly told her. Quote, "The morning of the incident, I was changing her diaper and clothes. I figured since she was sick, she would need help. No, I was not forceful by any means. She had her diaper and pants on, and I picked her up to put her shirt on. She must have been too close, and when I helped her up, she hit her head. She went limp, and I immediately called Brandy, but she said, quote, 'It's fine, she's sick,' end quote. It didn't seem normal. I figured she would cry or something, but didn't. After Brandy didn't do anything, I called Pee-wee, and she came up and called her Graham. I laid Soph on the couch or chair, and then Pee-wee called Brandy, and she finally came down and picked her up abruptly and put her on the ground/floor. And Pee-wee and I both tried calling 911, but my call wouldn't go through. But Pee-wee got through, and she got taken to the hospital," end quote. I have an offer to make, and I want to do it publicly. Kimberly Ronan and William A. Shaw Jr., I will pay for a non-biased and neutral polygraph examiner to test both of you regarding what really was said to Jennifer Ann Medzie at the county jail on August 25th, 2016. Police coercion is unlawful and unethical. And if anyone listening decides to go to a meet and greet or a Q&A with William A. Shaw Jr., you're welcome to let him know about my offer. Let me know what he says if you'd like. You guys, Bill Shaw Jr., the same one that allegedly coerced Jen into a false statement, is now running for Clearfield County judge. Can you imagine how he'd be as a judge? I'm guessing he'd continue his alleged unlawful and unethical behaviors. Again, let me know if you talk with him regarding Jen's case. I appreciate all of you. Next time on Can't Stop, Won't Stop Warriors, I talk with some of the girls that were incarcerated with Jennifer Medzie leading up to her trial. What is their recollection of Medzie? What is their recollection of Medzie at the county jail? And what did attorney Karen Muir do to help Jennifer? I have some interesting facts to share with you. So many people failed Sophia Margaret Hoffman. And as of this episode, Jennifer Medzie is the only person to be convicted for this sweet baby girl's death. And she is currently sitting in her 9th year at SCI Cambridge, serving a 20 to 40 year sentence for 3rd-degree murder. Thank you for your support, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to Can't Stop, Won't Stop Warriors. It's a free and easy way to help get more awareness out about the corruption happening throughout this country. I appreciate you.
And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll